Well, the crypto market is starting this Monday off in the green, with most cryptos up anywhere from 5 to 10%, and a couple up as high as 28%. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly why this pump that we are seeing today is so important, exactly what it could mean for your portfolio, and exactly what I'm doing right now. So, we have a good bit to get into today. So, if you do find this video valuable, smash that like button, and do not forget that if you are trading any of the cryptos you see in today's video, you can trade them over on BTCC using my link down below and get up to $10,000 to each one of you watching this video right now. But without further ado, let's go ahead and let's kick it off and let's just talk about what is happening in the market today. So, as you all know, over the last couple of days, we were very, very on edge. And listen, I told you, look, something is crazy. Something crazy is happening in the market right now. We're on shaky territory right now. Because over the last couple of days, what we saw was that Bitcoin's price was attempting to break through the downside of this big descending wedge that it's been in since July 13th. Now, I told you all, this is something you need to be watching closely, because if Bitcoin was capable of breaking down, losing this support, falling through the $112,000 level, it would very likely imply that a bigger correction, a bigger crash was on the way for not just Bitcoin, but the crypto market as a whole that we would all feel in our portfolios. And so, knowing what was at stake, knowing what was on the line, I told you we need to watch this very closely. I talked about it in this video. I talked about it in this video a few days ago. I even talked about it on yesterday's live stream. And just 24 hours later, the crypto market has started to make its move. It's giving us some clear signs as to exactly what is happening now that the week has gotten started. And that's what I want to start this video off by talking about. So, as I mentioned before, we were watching very closely whether or not Bitcoin's price would be capable of breaking through the downside of this. I didn't, want it to ideally, but it was a possibility that we were ready for. I told you all that if Bitcoin's price broke to the downside, there would be several levels of support that I believe would hold Bitcoin's price up and allow this market to reverse. The words that I used in those last videos were, I'm betting on the reversal. While everybody's screaming and worried and freaking out and panicking, saying that the crypto market is going to fall, I told you I was betting on the reversal. I thought that even if Bitcoin's price did lose support for the time being, that it would be able to find some support, push back into this descending channel, and continue on this journey before inevitably and eventually breaking through the top side. Now, my method for, betting on the reversal was to be buying into my spot bag. So just dollar cost averaging. As you can see, if we go to my buy sell bubble sheet, we did do some purchasing right down here around the $113,000 mark. And I also told you all in yesterday's live stream that I would be opening up a low leverage long trade right around that $113,000 level in anticipation of some sort of attempt at a reversal. And now, just 24 hours later, the purchases that we made right here, while everyone else was worried, everyone else were freaking out, are now in profit, unrealized profit until we take profit, right? But unrealized gains. And the leverage trade that we did open on yesterday's live stream, I have now officially closed for a quick, small profit. As you all know, it was on 3x leverage, very, very small stuff there. And with Bitcoin's price pushing up now 2%, very simply, it's a 6% gain. Now, I know you might scoff at that. I know you may say, Tyler, that's nothing. That's a small amount of money. And listen, I would actually agree with you. But the truth is, being able to lock in those small gains just like that over and over and over again, guys, it does add up. And all it does is it gives me more cash that I can stack aside to throw back into my long-term portfolio if the market dips. So let's say Bitcoin does just reverse right here and it starts to fall back towards, say, $114,000 or $112,000 or whatever it may be. Now I have extra cash that I can throw in. It's free purchases on red days. So you guys wonder why I don't stress on red days. It's because I get to make free purchases on my positions from doing these small little scalp trades. And you stack them up over and over and over again, and they look pretty dang on good, okay? And so over the last 24 hours, we were able to get in, make that purchase into our long-term bag here, open up that low leverage long trade. And now both of those are looking at realized and unrealized gains, which feels fantastic. Now, one of the questions that you may ask, right, going forward from here is, okay, well, now that Bitcoin has reversed, are we in the clear? And I think that's what many people are wondering. Are we now in the clear? Is Bitcoin going to, be all right? Or are we not going to fall to 100K? Are we not going to fall to 103K? Are we out of the woods? And although I would love to just say, yeah, guys, we're out of the woods, we're in the clear, I can't say that quite yet. Okay, I can't say that quite yet. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I need you to watch next to know if we're out of the woods. Because what I don't want is for you guys to just have to wait all day for me to make a video to know what's happening. I want to give you guys things that you can be watching in real time after this video so you know exactly what to what to be expecting or what to be paying attention to next, okay? So for us to be out of the woods, for us to avoid real damage, and I'm talking real damage like Bitcoin falling to 106K, which was a card that was on the table just yesterday, right? Which would have brought the altcoin market down 15, 20, 25%, right? For us to avoid real damage, what Bitcoin needs to show me is that next pullback. What I need to see from Bitcoin is simply what happens in that next pullback. That is going to tell us everything we need to know. If Bitcoin's price is capable of pulling back now that it has recovered back into this channel, if it can pull back and maintain this channel, find some support and start trying to continue back upwards, set the higher low, set the uptrend, guys, we're in a great spot. Crisis avoided, right? Crisis averted. I would actually go as far as to say that crisis has been avoided for the time being until Jerome Powell says something stupid again. But anywho, right? Crisis would be avoided if we can set the higher low. If we come back down and set the lower low, crisis not avoided, right? Crisis heavily not avoided. Matter of fact, crisis very likely get into your bomb shelter, right? And I know I'm saying that in a joking way, but that is the truth. What you can't do right now is get too far ahead of yourselves. What you can't do right now is say, "Oh, well, Bitcoin recovered back in. That means that we're not going to dump and that we're all good." And I know that sounds good, but that's just not the case. The case is that Bitcoin is still a risk right now, and at any given point, Bitcoin might get rejected. And you may say, "Tyler, well, why are you so concerned of whether it sets a higher low or a lower low?" Because it all has to do with the trend. We have been in a downtrend. Bitcoin had a low and it then set a lower low. This now created a macro downtrend that was guiding us outside of the channel. So Bitcoin has to break that structure. What Bitcoin needs to do is be able to come down and on the micro sense, set the higher low and start looking to continue upwards for the higher high, giving us the uptrend that will get us out of here. Because if it does not, Bitcoin's trajectory right now is still downwards. Who's to say that Bitcoin's not going to do this? Look, I mean, look, like the truth is, look at this, guys. Boom. You see this previous point of support that we had just right there, support? Guys, who's to say that Bitcoin doesn't use this as resistance, which it's doing right now, by the way, and then use that to get rejected straight back to the downside, set the lower low, and now this breakout to the downside is confirmed. And all of this was a trap. Because you see how all of these people just jump back in on long trades? There's a ton of 100x leverage trades now available right below us. And so who's to say this wasn't lizard games, manipulative moves that are going to simply, very simply, just allow the people to start feeling a little bit better, allow the retail investor to start feeling a little bit confident to start this week off, and then next thing you know, the market absolutely nukes, liquidating all of those traders. So this move liquidated the short traders, and then this move liquidated the long traders, and then it continues downwards. That is still a possibility. And the only way for us to know that that is not going to happen, or at least have some sort of confidence that that's not going to happen, is by Bitcoin being able to show us that next pullback. Show me that next pullback. Show me that you can come back down and build up that support. In addition to that, I'd love to see Bitcoin break that previous point of support, like I told you. If we can see a Bitcoin price above $115.5 thousand, right? If I can see Bitcoin above 115.5, I'd be very confident that yes, guys, crisis is averted and that we're likely just going to continue through this descending channel until we inevitably break out of it. That's what I think. But we're not there yet. And the people who are jumping with joy, getting all happy, shaking tomato cans out in the streets of Italy or whatever people do, again, I don't go outside, right? That and the people who are all excited, they're putting themselves at risk. They're putting themselves at danger. All of these people who are now opening up long trades when someone like us, we just close down long trades, right? These people are taking ginormous risks. And I just don't think personally that it's a worth it risk to take. Let's see Bitcoin's price break above 115.5 and stay above it. Let's see that next pullback, show us that it can create that higher low and start changing this trend. Because until then, this could be a trap. And I don't want to be trapped here. I hate it. It's annoying. I don't like when those people take my money. I don't want that to happen. Okay. And so when it comes to Bitcoin, that's what I'm looking for. Yes, we're in a great spot. Yes, this is good. Yes, this feels great. But at the end of the day, we are not there yet. And we need to see Bitcoin do one, give us the higher low, and two, break above 115.5. Get above that previous point of support. Don't flip that thing into resistance. Give us that move. And if we can get into the black zone, boom, we're in a fantastic spot. Now, when it comes to altcoins, the picture is incredibly simple. Okay. When it comes to altcoins, the picture is also very similar. So the first thing that I want to say is that Bitcoin is in control of the market. Okay. We're now back in a little mini Bitcoin season. When Bitcoin goes up, alts will go up. When Bitcoin goes down, alts will go down. So keep that in mind, knowing that whatever Bitcoin decides to do here, if it dumps, alts will dump. If it pumps, alts will pump. So alts are reliant on Bitcoin right now, but I am going to give you my altcoin market analysis kind of in separation of Bitcoin. But do remember that you could just skip the altcoin analysis part because whatever Bitcoin does, the altcoins will do. Okay. So let's go ahead now and let's kind of pivot a little bit back into the world of altcoins. Now, before we do get into talking about what's happening with Total 2, because I believe Total 2 is the most important thing outside of Bitcoin that you need to be watching as an altcoin investor. Before we get into that, I do want to remind you guys, our channel partner DexRP, they are going to be launching their token very, very soon. We're talking within the next couple months. This is one of the biggest launches that there's ever been before, especially this year, because it's one of the biggest launches on XRP, which is obviously the winning crypto of this market cycle. As of the moment that you're watching this video, there's only a couple hours left before the token's pre-sale goes into the next round, which sees the price increase. So if you've been considering jumping in, joining in, I'm not telling you to. I'm simply just saying that their token price is going to go up on the pre-sale pretty soon. So it could be worth checking out now if you've been considering it, because they have been making some insane moves recently. If you just go to just what I encourage you to do, just go check out their Twitter. You'll see everything you need to see. I mean, they've been doing giveaways to their community, really building up a lot of community support. They've officially reached the $3 million mark and over 4,500 investors in the pre-sale, which makes it officially one of the biggest pre-sales this year and the biggest on XRPL, which is absolutely insane. They've had a whole bunch of big news, especially whenever it comes to just their publicity, their PR, the notoriety, getting on Cointelegraph, more people knowing about them, which is obviously good. And they've been making some fantastic steps. And so if you are interested, again, they are a channel partner. You can check out the link in the description to DexRP. I did add them to my own personal pre-sale bag following that video that I made recently because I was like, you know what, this is great. I want to add this to my own bag. I heard about them from kind of like through the vines of my marketing agency. And so, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there if any of you are interested. But let's go ahead and let's talk about Total 2. Because like I told you, outside of Bitcoin's price, there is one very specific thing to be focusing on when you are an altcoin investor right now, and it is Total 2. So if you don't know what Total 2 it is the total market cap of altcoins. Okay. It's a total market cap of altcoins. And all that means, take the total market cap of crypto, take out Bitcoin, altcoin market, here it is. Okay. And if you are an altcoin holder, this is what you need to be watching. Total 2 recently created a double top. Okay. Total 2 recently created a double top, which is a very bearish pattern. It's not a pattern you want to see. It's not a good pattern. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You don't want to see one of these print up in the middle of a bull market because they're almost always followed by pullbacks, which is what we saw. I pointed this out for the first time actually a couple days ago prior to this pullback happening. So shout out to you guys who did get ready for that and you capitalized on it. Okay. But what's happening is something extremely interesting, something that could cancel the effects of this double top, because by nature, this double top actually has a direction back down to 1.27. So based on the breakdown target of this double top, the total market cap of altcoins should go back down to 1.27. This is the breakdown target. This is where it should go. So there is still the possibility of a pullback happening here that takes us much lower, which looks like the altcoin market falling another, 10%, which means most alts are nuking anywhere from 15 to 25%, right? That is still on the table. It is still extremely, extremely possible, but something could cancel that. And what would cancel that is if the altcoin market can break above 1.45 trillion. If the altcoin market can break back above 1.45 trillion, historical data suggests that it could cancel the effects and the breakout target of the double top. And you may wonder how. Let me explain. So whenever you create a double top, there's a thing called an MLS. And an MLS is put very simply just a mid-level of support, okay? So whenever a double top looks like this, right? You see how there's like the line up, there's the top, they're equal, it's a double top, then there's a line in between that creates this valley, there's a point. This is an MLS, a mid-level of support, MLS, MLOS, whatever you want to call it, okay? Now, this mid-level of support is the revolutionary point. I mean, this is the point that matters. When you fall below this MLS, when the double top starts working and you fall below it, it enacts the breakdown target. So the breakdown target is activated the second that you fall below this MLS, and usually you will go down to that breakdown target towards the downside. But if the crypto that you're tracking is capable of recovering back above the MLS and can build support above it, what will oftentimes happen is this will just be a fake out. And it is one of the rare instances that a double top does not fully activate towards the downside. And that can always, or that not always by any means, but that can oftentimes imply that some sort of more bullish move towards the upside would follow soon thereafter because of the cancellation of this bearish breakout. And so, in very simple terms, whenever you create a double top, you'll usually see something that looks like this. You have this line right here. The second you fall below that line, that's bad. But if you're capable of getting back above it, that's very, very good. And if we look at what's happening right now with the altcoin market, you can see that. We had the double top, we lost that support, we started nuking. But now we're trying to recover back above that $1.45 trillion mark, which would mark the MLS, which would be the point in which the altcoin market would be able to cancel out the possible, the forced breakout towards the downside here. It would also get the total market cap of cryptos back out of this golden zone, which you all know is a good thing. So if you're an altcoin market or altcoin holder, altcoin investor, altcoin trader, what you need to be watching as hard as possible is what Bitcoin does and how that impacts this. If Bitcoin pumps above 115.5 and brings the altcoin market above this, yeah, sure, we might continue to trend downwards, right? We might do this, right? We might try to create something like this. That's fine. It does not matter. What we need to try to see is it to cancel out this move. That's what we're trying to avoid. And Bitcoin pumping and bringing the altcoin market above that level would be the very thing that could allow that to happen. So I'm going to keep you updated as this does play out. But the best thing to do right now is go over to Bitcoin's price, set your alerts. I want you to set an alert at $112,000. I want you to set an alert at $115.5 thousand. Whichever side of that we break out of first is the direction that we're going to probably go in for quite some time. So you have to be aware of it. We break 115.5 to the upside, we're in a good spot. We break 112 to the downside, we're in a bad spot. Simple as that. And if you're an altcoin investor, I want you to head over to Total 2. I want you to set an alert right at 1.45 trillion towards the top side and then 1.34 trillion. That's your range. And whichever side of that range we break out of, that's the direction we're probably going to go in. And I'll update you on exactly what I'm doing if that does happen. But hopefully these videos have been helpful, just helping you navigate through these moments because, listen, I know they can be scary. I know they can be gruesome. I know they can be frustrating. Trust me, I get it. But at the end of the day, if you can learn how to navigate this market, go against the fear, bet on the reversal in the moments where you think it makes the most sense, you can set yourselves up to be in a good spot. Because I'm not going to lie, it feels great knowing that we took this little scalp trade as everyone else was running from the market, and now we have extra cash if the market does dip. So the way I see it is like, let it dip. I mean, if it's going to dip, I'll just buy some more. Who cares, right? And that's the position you want to be in, where it doesn't matter what this market does. You always have a plan and you're ready to implement that plan at any given point. And so that's what I'm doing right now at the crypto market. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what I'm watching. And hopefully, again, this video was valuable for you guys. But please don't forget that if you do want to trade any of the cryptos, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, XRP, and many more, you can go get up to $10,000 in bonuses with my affiliate link to BTCC, link down below. And don't forget to go check out DexRP, which is linked down below. But again, overall, I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please let me know down in the comments below exactly what you're doing in your portfolio right now. And I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace.